It's bigger. It's louder. It's better than ever. This still isn't your typical motorsports podcast. This is the 10th anniversary of Crush This, a monster truck podcast brought to you by J Concepts. For 10 years, your hosts, the monster truck Canucker Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash, have brought you into the minds and personalities of the monster truck industry. Strap in and hold on tight. This is Crush This!
Hello, welcome to Crush This and Monster Truck Podcast, the first main show that we have this season, 2026. We're creating a new intro. We'll get that sooner or later and get our old one back, or we can just keep on rocking. It's up to you guys. But if once again, guys, thank you for being on here. If you have any questions for Tim Hall, please ask on our chat board and go from there. But once again, we got to thank our sponsors, our main people, J Concepts. Thank you for being here for another year. Also sponsoring for me for my RC stuff, another year for that. But if you guys want to get your RC stuff, bodies, tires, your monster truck regulator, go to jconcepts.net for 15% off checkout while using the code CRUSHTHIS at the checkout online. Go to jconcepts.net. Get your cool stuff also for that. One of the big things for them, they keep our little monster truck things going on there in the RC world, and we go from there. So go to type in Crush This through jconcepts.net for your 15% off. Also, with that too, go to our monster truck Crush This, a monster truck podcast spread shop. Get yourself some cool hats, t-shirts, stuff like that. What you need to get there through our website. Go check that out through hand. Go to our spreadshop.com. While we're at it, also here with our episodes, if you are late to the party, and right now we are dealing stuff, we're switching podcast providers as of right now. Our previous podcast providers tanked and never gave us the information that we had to go do something else. So all the episodes that you see on iTunes and on Spotify, that's pretty much it until we find something further notice to put the audio in here. So as of right now, we're going to be live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, doing some episodes here and there on recorded episodes and stuff like that. But if you miss out on the live stuff, go to monstersmonthly.com. He has our episodes. He goes and puts it on the episodes right there on the website itself. So you guys can go ahead and go check it out and see us there on monstersmonthly.com. So Brad is right now currently at school in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, doing graphic design work and stuff like that for his future endeavors and stuff like that. So he'll be on, give me up-to-date stuff here or there. Wanted to let you know for next week's guest, next Tuesday's episode is going to be RJ Turner with the War Wizard Monster Truck team. So he'll be on next week for this episode. So we're going to thank one more sponsor. We're going to have Mr. Tim Hall from Hall Brothers Racing here to chat and catch up on the last couple of years and this year too. So here we go.
Are you ready to get in on the action here on the Monster Truck Attitude YouTube channel? Look no further. Head over to Facebook where you can sign up for all the great events we host right here on the MTA YouTube channel. Be sure to sign up for the events and register your name and get locked in with a monster truck of your own and get ready for the great thrills and spills right here on the MTA YouTube channel. Again, find us on Facebook, register for these events, and you soon will be competing in all the great events. We hope to see you there. And get ready for the wild and crazy action. Be sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a beat right here on the Monster Truck Attitude YouTube channel.
All right, we have Mr. Tim Hall, my boss, one half of Hall Brothers Racing, and Sorry, Tim. I guess my throat got a little clogged up here, so
Yeah.
bear with me. Sorry about that, but just thank you for being on and taking your time here. You always say you're a very busy man, being a Hall of Famer and such. But thank you for being on.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, this is it's always neat to talk monster trucks with you.
I know it's been a few years ago since the last time we have talked to you, but me being on the team, we have officially people always say a roller coaster uh event or stuff that is helping us out. We didn't get that roller coaster. We got here a one of those brand new coasters where it just sends you off and you just start taking off. The last couple years, especially starting with this year, 2025 has been just took off. I would probably compare it to a aircraft carrier and a catapult. We go into started actually back in 2024 doing a lot of stuff with the college football and or with our awesome and doing Tulare with Hotsy and the farm shows, and then fast forward a year later, we're doing the Super Bowl, and then we got our hands back in the NASCAR world. It just seems people, after the changing of the guard with Ram, it's been really, really cool with this ride that we're going on right now.
Yeah, it has. When the administration was different at Stellantis, with Carlos Tavares there, he took the company in a different direction. He wanted to go more electric, and some people agreed with that, some people didn't. And in any case, he steered the company, as CEOs do, in the direction that he thought would be the best way to go. And turns out maybe it wasn't. Maybe it didn't work as well as what he had anticipated. And he stepped down, and a different fellow took the reins. And it was kind of neat because, well, you were the first one to have met him at one of the events, I think, Antonio Flosa, when he came in, and you got him up in the Raminator. That was pretty cool. And he's a good supporter of our program and really likes it. And then when he took over and started steering the company in a different direction, then Tim Kuniskis came back, who was kind of the godfather, if you will, of the Hellcats and the Demons and all of the supercharged Hemi stuff. And a lot of fans may not know, but I know some fans do. They were taking us down a direction. They wanted us to get rid of the Hemi. Well, the brand was getting rid of the Hemi, and we all questioned that, kind of thinking, "Are you sure?" The Hemi is kind of that's Chrysler. That's the history of. You can't write the history of Chrysler without the Hemi, and but nevertheless, that was the direction they wanted to go. And this new Hurricane engine, magnificent power plant that's in Wagoneers and a bunch of other vehicles, and of course available in the 1500s. Well, that motor, it was really cool. Small cubic inch, but double 2 turbochargers and lots of horsepower. It was really a neat thing. So we were kind of steered to wind down the Hemis and begin looking at these Hurricanes. And, they were going to develop a special Hurricane that was about a 15 or 1600 horsepower version, a bigger cubic inch version. It was going to be used for racing, and that's the direction we were going to go in. Well, then, like I say, the administration changes. Tim Kuniskis comes back, and here comes the Hemi again, and resurrects the company, pulls us back out of the direction we were going, back onto the highway, so to speak. And by golly, the Ram, when they brought the Hemi back, the Ram order banks instantly started filling up. And so all of a sudden we got the phone call, "Hey, never mind the Hurricane for now, stay with the Hemi." So we have some Hurricane crate engines. We're going to eventually put them into the ride truck when we get enough time to pull the ride truck down long enough to do it. But for now, it's full speed ahead with Hemis, and we ordered up a bunch more parts and got built some new ones, and we're ready to go with we started racing again with the Hemis, and well, I guess we never really quit, but now it's full speed ahead with the Hemi, and that's okay with us. That's a very good powertrain. It's been very good to us over the years, and very blessed to be able to have a good inventory of parts, and ready for 2026. Bring on the green flag.
Yeah, speaking about green flag, they brought out the news on, about Ram Stellantis coming back to NASCAR, and they brought us along with it. And, having that, knowing about, the Craftsman Truck Series and the past history that you guys had when you were part of Dodge Motorsports, you guys were doing displays with the Craftsman truck, and now we're going to be doing some with it at now future NASCAR races, which last year we did touch a little bit on a few tracks towards the final outing for the 2025 NASCAR season. But getting back to NASCAR itself, the excitement's in the air. They just released Brandon Queen's sponsorship with Cummins, with the 12 truck. With that and bringing us along during displays and stuff like that at these racetracks, it got to be really exciting to get back to that too.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, even before our affiliation with Dodge Motorsports and stuff that started back in that era, we started with the Pro MT thing. We started working with the Craftsman Truck Series, which was really neat when we were working with International Speedway Corporation, and Eric Meager, Dan Patrick, Bob Chandler, and I had that Pro MT deal. Mark was in there too. I got to keep it was Hall Brothers, I guess, had that part of that. But it was pretty neat for us to get to go to those tracks. And in fact, I wish it had panned out where there were a few of them that we got to run with the Craftsman Truck Series. Maybe we ran in the afternoon and the Truck Series ran in the evening or something like that. That was really cool. I wish we'd have been able to continue that, but it wasn't in the cards. Nevertheless, we got to go to a lot of those Craftsman truck races and see how that side of the racing industry worked, which was really cool. Now, full circle, we're back. Colleague has a very well respected team. Was chosen to represent Ram on its return to the Craftsman Truck Series, and I think that is going to be really interesting and really neat. They've got some very good talent there at their place. The company is wants for nothing. They have the best of everything, so that's really good. It's going to be exciting to watch them go. And Curtis and I were down at Randy Dye's dealership down in Daytona, and it was pretty neat to get to see when they had one of the trucks there, and they were wrapping it up to do some of the promotional stuff. Randy's son Daniel is one of the drivers for Colleague in the Truck Series, so it was neat to see that. And it's also cool that we're going to get a Craftsman truck of our own, not to race. That would really be something, but nevertheless to take with us to specific exhibits. We're going to create a program. We're working on that. We're going to have a program that dealers can book, kind of like a Ram racing program, as it would be. They can book a Raminator as well as the Craftsman truck, maybe do some displays. That'll be kind of neat, when we get that program off the ground. But first, those guys are working to get their equipment ready for Daytona, to a really a very I don't know, I guess a pretty exciting program, and they bit off a big bite, to get all those trucks ready for Daytona. They pledged to have there in Daytona, so that's going to be neat. We're going to be there. We'll be in Daytona. That'll be fun for us to take part in that and watch them launch the Ram Craftsman truck program, and then we'll throughout the year we'll be going our separate ways, but then we'll bounce back. I think 14 or 15 times we'll be back with them at different specific NASCAR events where we'll have displays in the fan zone areas or somewhere at the track, which will be neat. There are some that we're likely be able to do some car crushes, ride truck events, things like that in conjunction with the fan zone. So lots of neat stuff with respect to them returning to NASCAR. So that opens up a lot of opportunities for us, and we're very fortunate to be able to enjoy those. It's a lot of fun to go to those races and go to those events and visit with the fans. A lot of those NASCAR fans are monster truck fans. There are fans, but there are also a lot of them that aren't, and we can introduce them to our sport. And hopefully, when monster truck event comes around to town, they'll say, "Oh yeah, let's go check that out." They're motorsports fans, and maybe they'll come and become a monster truck fan along the way. That's what we hope.
So another thing is outside NASCAR, we also have been part of some college football and NFL. That's some of the biggest sports in America, transferring now to the world. Me and I think Levi, we're doing the math on a weekend on a Saturday in general. College football, there's 155 teams. 77 of those teams have games at home. The other half are playing at that stadium that the other team's playing. And the money that college football is creating just in revenue is outrageous, crazy.
Yeah.
Just enough to, I think me and you were talking about, I think the University of Illinois has their own budget that doesn't even involve the school that maintain the football program and the athletic department. I think the head coach is under a different paycheck or different something with the university that's different than the school itself paying for it. But still, in general, the atmosphere of a college football, 64,000 to 110,000 people at some stadiums. Then you have the Super Bowl, which I found out when we went there, that I don't even think the Super Bowl has any open tickets. When I'm saying you just can't go to the stadium and go, I need 2 tickets for the Super Bowl. It's connection. Sponsors, season ticket holders have first dibs pretty much of the Super Bowl if their team makes it. If not, then they can sell the tickets and people can get tickets and stuff like that. But we're having the opportunity to do displays for college football teams, bowl games, national championships, Super Bowl. And all I have heard, me personally, is everything has been, very good positivity. People like, oh, that's cool seeing a monster truck. That's awesome. Let's get a picture next to it. That's awesome. That's cool and stuff like that. So, with how we're getting connected through with our sponsors with Ram, using us as a marketing tool to bring people in to get connected with Ram trucks, with having the monster truck there is awesome to be a bridge and having the opportunity on mainstream media to see that. Because as of right now, Ram has produced 2 major commercials and Raminator's been in it. And that I think that's that's awesome experience to know that people around the world still love monster trucks.
Yeah, it really is, and to your point, yeah, there's a lot of money in college sports, college football. There's those a lot of companies put huge money into it. Of course, there's a lot of alumni that make contributions, and I think Coach Bielema here at the University of Illinois, I thought I read somewhere where he's the highest paid state employee. So. It's big money. A lot of people come to those events. We had the good fortune to go to the Cotton Bowl down in Dallas, and boy, it was packed, and it was so neat to see all the fans and a lot of fans that are monster truck fans, like you say, or we were at AT&T Stadium for that event, which of course we've been there with Monster Jam, and Monster Jam goes there quite frequently. And there were a lot of fans that came to the Fan Zone experience and had been there for Monster Jam. That was neat. But there were a lot of fans from Columbus. It seemed like we were on the Ohio State side. There must have been where we were at, because for every one University of Miami fan, it seemed like we saw tens of thousands of Ohio State fans. So we must have been on their end of the stadium or something. But nevertheless, a lot of fans, oh yeah, I saw you up at Four Wheel Jamboree at Lima, or I saw you in Columbus when you raced at Monster Jam or Monster Nationals or something in Columbus. So there were fans that were there. That was neat. The crossover is, in fact, there. That was a lot of fun. The other thing that's neat about, that college football experience, that one in particular, is it shows the cross branding, the B2B, the business to business stuff that is crawling into our sport. Of course, that's huge in NASCAR and NHRA and sports car racing and other types of of motorsports. And now we're seeing it here, with some of the sponsors that Monster Jam has, and then some of the ones we see at the jamborees, some of the tire companies and stuff that are at the Four Wheel Jamborees. And in this case, Goodyear and Ram partnered up to do the exhibit there and bring us in. We did a Goodyear themed truck that hopefully the fans saw. It seemed like a lot of fans really liked it, liked the layout, liked the graphics and such. And that's always neat for us to be able to cross promote. And we were promoting some new, Goodyear was promoting some new Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires. And of course, they needed something to showcase them, so they put them on some Ram trucks. And when you have some Ram trucks on display at a sporting event, then you got to have a Raminator and a Craftsman truck to help promote that. So, yeah, we were the eye candy, as it would be, in the photo op to get people into the space, and it certainly draws. And it was neat for Goodyear to tell us at that event. One of the Goodyear spokespersons said, there's a 100% chance that we're going to work with you on some future events. So, that was neat to hear, and exciting. And we pride ourselves on doing the best we can, and representing our sponsors and our sponsor connections. When our sponsors, like Ram or HOTC, reach out, and when they partner with somebody, it's our job to make sure that we do a very good job representing them and make them proud to be a partner. And so I think we accomplished that with Goodyear. That was a neat experience, and lots of college football stuff. We still got one more game this year with the championship game coming up in Miami. That'll be in a week or so. We'll be down there at that one. That's going to be interesting too. We're going to be at the Fan Zone area, which is off site, and then move over to the stadium for the football game on that Monday. So that'll be a neat experience. And then, of course, the farm shows. Farm show season starts early, and you think of farm shows, they're in typically harvest time of year and stuff, but not necessarily. The one out in Tulare, California, one of the biggest, the World Ag Expo, we'll be out there for that one in February. Curtis will take the HOTC monster truck out there, which is always it's neat for us Midwesterners that grew up around Midwestern farms to go out there and see all the equipment and harvest equipment and all the stuff that they have out there. It's not corn and soybeans out there like we're used to here in the Midwest. Those guys have all this equipment that harvests fruit and oranges, strawberries, and olives and lettuce and all kinds of vegetables and fruits and all this other neat stuff. It's interesting for me to go there and see all that equipment and how it works and how it's different. But nevertheless, we go out there for HOTC and showcase that, and then make some other appearances while we're out there for them, and go on to Daytona and kick off the duels and the Craftsman Truck Series and the Daytona. Lots of races. We're going to get to a lot of tracks that we raced at before this year as we visit, but we're going to go to a lot of NASCAR tracks that we've never been to. We're going to Charlotte, we're going to Bristol, we're going to Darlington, places where we've raced before. That'll be cool. But we're also going to Martinsville and Kansas, another one we raced at. We're going to places like Martinsville. We're going to some of these that we've never been to. That'll be kind of neat to get to experience those tracks Mark and I have been pretty fortunate over the years to have raced in almost every arena and stadium there is across the country. Not quite all of them, but a heck of a lot of them. And we've been to a lot of really big racing tracks, racing facilities, and a lot of historic places. It's pretty cool. And now we get to add to that this year with some more. So even though we've been at this game for almost 40 years, still exciting new places to visit and new stuff to see. We're looking forward to that.
Well, we're gonna show one about a commercial here, a commercial break, and then ask about a cool opportunity or a cool thing that we did May in 2025. So we will be right back. So I want to thank Back Channel Productions, Nick Davis and his action stuff like that, which he does stuff for the Four-Wheel Jamboree, which we'll be looking forward to here soon. But the story that I wanted to know is you always told me beforehand you had a commercial shoot back in the Dodge days where they were pushing the RU drive. Isn't that a Hemi, or does that thing have a Hemi? That didn't, I don't think it didn't come to fruition, and I don't think it was aired or anything. But in May of 2025, we got that opportunity to do a commercial with Ram at Darlington, and that experience was I thought was awesome. Walking around on a track at 3 a.m, where you're eating lunch, and then cars ran against that wall and stuff like that. But how was that experience like, and how was that to do a commercial shoot at a legendary racetrack, and knowing that this commercial is going to be on prime time and throughout NASCAR season, sometimes some of the football season and stuff like that Ram helps sponsor for like Fox and stuff like that. But I mean, having the opportunity of having and also kind of debuting the Redemption truck in that experience.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. To go back to that, there was the campaign was that thing got a Hemi, and you remember the two the redneck like guys, that they had the two hillbilly-ish guys that pulled up in their old Dart, I think they had, or something, and asked the guy in the Ram pickup if that thing got a Hemi, and then it's that just spawned a whole series of commercials. And I think the last one to air was Gary Scelzi had a Top Fuel dragster, and he went through a toll booth or something, and he threw his money in the toll booth with the dragster, which was cool. And the thought was the next one was going to be us, and was going to have those guys with their, it got me a Hemi, and I finally got me a Hemi, and he was going to have Raminator. But sadly, the campaign came to an end before we got to make one. So we thought, doggone it, we were that close, and we didn't get to do the commercial. But we always kept that. I'd throw it out there once in a while to our connections at Ram, and hey, don't forget us. We could be in one of these commercials. We could be. Well, then finally we got the call. Hey, can you be here to do this? We need you to do this, and this is what we're going to do. Okay. Graciously, Monster Jam let us out of some commitments that we had so that we could, because we had to do this at a specific time. When they could do it with the track, and plus the Goodyear blimp was involved. So we had the track schedule, we had the filming schedule, we had the blimp schedule, and we had our schedule to try to bring all of those things into line when everybody could be at the same place at the same time. So it was pretty difficult, but we were able to do it. And I think Garner's covered for us at an event or something so that we could be there, and that was pretty neat. Well, then the next thing we find out is they shoot these things in the middle of the night. I figured we'd go there and they film it during the day, and you always talk about playing to the light with the TV cameras. They want the light, they want the light, they want the light. Well, what they want is a black sky up there so that they can control the light and direct the light exactly where they want it and how much light and all of that. So they don't want clouds in the background, or if they do, they want to put pretty clouds that they create with AI or something. So they shoot these things in the middle of the night. So here we are in the middle of the night in Darlington. And I remember sitting alongside the wall with you and some of the guys on the team, and we were thinking, geez, we were on the pit road there for a while, and then we were down inside a turn 3 and the famous turn 4 there at Darlington, thinking, this is right there against the safer barrier and stuff. And then Mark and Kurt drove the trucks around, and some of our stuntman friends that we hadn't seen in a while were there driving some of the production Ram trucks, and we had the Craftsman truck there, and it was neat to see them again, and for them to be able to do some stuff with us. That was really cool. And Raminator made some jumps, and the guys drove at speed down the track, which was kind of neat. Put high gears in them, and got to drive down the track, and all that was really cool. And then we filmed another one out in California, Bakersfield. Took a truck out there and did some donuts and stuff for another ad that aired. And keep watching, because there's some more sections to that, to those stories that haven't aired yet. So there's going to be some more out there. So those will be neat too.
And another exciting thing was the new look for both trucks. I mean, we got a new name, with Ramunition going back, and then we having Ramdemption, and then Raminator getting a new look for the 2025 season. What's the kind of the story between those two looks for the 2025 year?
Yeah, they wanted to create something neat for the comeback, as it would be for the company. So Ramunition, had kind of run its course. When we originally did that, we thought we'd run it for a few years or something. Then it had a really storied run, a historic run, won some championships, won the last race in the Silver Dome there. That was neat. It did a lot of good things in its life, but they wanted to retire the name and start up with this new one, because when the company did away with the Hemi, they thought, okay, we've made a mistake, and they admitted their mistake. And part of those commercials explains that if you go back and watch them. But they said that they made the mistake, they acknowledged the mistake, and this is our Ramdemption. This is our play on words with redemption, but our Ramdemption to come back with the Hemi. And they thought, that's a cool name for a truck, so that's what they selected, and that's where we're at. So along with that, they thought, let's put some bright colors for these TV commercials. So they came out, one of the agencies up there came up with some new paint schemes, some new looks, and the wraps were created, and there we are. We brought them out, debuted them in Darlington, along with some new flags and stuff. They had some pretty cool stuff, and we ran them there in those ads, and originally that was the plan, run them in those ads, and that was it. They were going back to the normal paint schemes, and we'd move forward. But Ram decided, nah, we like these. Let's leave them. Except they'd like to add the 3D ram heads that we had in the last iterations of Raminator and Ramunition. They want those 3D elements. So they created the ram head on the side, which is now kind of, that fits in the family of, if you're a Chrysler fan, or you've ever looked at the side of the Hellcat cars, you see the Hellcat emblem, the Demon emblem and stuff that's on the Dodge Demon car. Well, they created something along those lines with the Ram, and that's what we have. The Elephant was that elephant character, but now we've got this Ram, and he's our flavored Hellcat, if you will. And so he's on the side of the Ramdemption and the Raminator, and everybody liked it, and it just stuck. So they thought, nah, go ahead and run them this week. Well, go ahead and run them this month. We'll just go ahead and leave them like that. Let's just run them. And then it was, let's change the signage on the haulers. And then, they came up with the symbol of protest when we brought back the Hemi. They got all the 2026 production trucks, Hemi, that have a Hemi powertrain, have this emblem on the fender, and they like that emblem, so they incorporated that into some trailer wraps, and we wrapped a couple trailers, the one you pull, and then and another one that's doing a lot of displays at NASCAR races with that symbol of that badge of protest on there, which is kind of cool. It's our Hemi head with a Hemi engine behind him. It's really cool. And one of the other features that inspired was, now when you come to see us at a NASCAR race or other select events, maybe at the Jamborees, we're going to try to get it there, you can ride the Ram, ride the bull, so to speak, but it's a Ram, and it's kind of neat. It's like riding the bull at the,
try to defeat the Hemi.
Yeah, it's like trying to ride the bull at Gillies or something, but it's got he's a Ram creature, so it's kind of neat. And if you can do it, I think they give you a shirt or something. It's kind of cool. And so that's with us now at a lot of events. So it's inspired a whole bunch of different stuff that emblem has, and pretty proud to be carrying that. And there's we're one of the big showcases of all of what Ram does, and we're at a lot of events for them, like you say, all types of different events, and they put a lot of trust in us. And at the end of the day, well, we're truck salesmen. I mean, we're there to draw attention to the brand and to showcase the products. And we gotta get people in there and get them into the dealerships, get them into the showrooms, get them behind the wheel, and get them on the road in a new Ram truck, and show them the technology, the comfort, all of this, the economy, everything that's there. And now the 10-year warranty that blasts all the other manufacturers right out of the water. Nobody has a 10-year warranty except for Ram. And to stand behind your product with that kind of commitment, I think really says something. Tells people, come and try this truck. We're so sure that this is a good piece that we'll warranty the thing for 10 years. That's I think that says volumes. And we're proud to be aligned with the company that builds great products. The men and women that build those things, all over the world. It's really neat. And there's so many exciting new ones coming. The new TRX just released. They just acknowledged that the new Dakota that's coming, for the first time in Ram's history, there's an SUV coming. That's
25,
going to be,
I think, is it 25 new models that they're trying to release?
Yeah, all kinds of new stuff coming. So that's it's exciting times. The dealers are excited, and when the dealers are excited, then then they want to book, they want to do more open houses and dealer promotions and things like that, which helps drive our business. And it's good. It's good time to be affiliated with the Ram brand.
There was a cool video that they came out on YouTube. A guy named Off Track Productions talked about you and Mark and the empire that you guys created with Hall Brothers Racing, with the help with your monster truck history, and also with the Ram truck branding and stuff like that. He mentioned saying that we do something that now has become a lost art form in the monster truck world, and that is car crushing at dealerships or at events and stuff like that, letting people watch a monster truck do what a monster truck needs to do: crush cars or crush a form of automotive transportation. And seeing that and knowing that we still do that for families, that I don't know how many times have heard families going, I haven't took my kid to a monster truck event, but this could be the first time because tickets are so high that I don't have the money to go see it. Or when we do a display before an event, we always say, "Hey, you're getting ready for Saturday night. We're gonna be there Saturday night." I can't. I can't. I didn't even know about it, or I can't. This is the only thing I can do. Um, and then you see the people, especially when I'm driving, the truck, and I see lines of people on either or, even though at the end of the program they like scatter like cockroaches and they're gone before you know it, and you're parking the truck, you're like, where did everyone go? And but and then some people stay, and then we get the sign ups and the dealerships do what they need to do and stuff like that. But hearing about that, knowing that we still do that for the public, I feel like we're a big bridge that cross the general people to the monster truck world. People may not haven't seen a monster truck for maybe last time they normally say is like, "Oh, I haven't seen a monster truck since 2001. I didn't even know they're still around," or and
I haven't seen one since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And having that still going on with our product, that says a lot.
Well, it is expensive to run a monster truck. It costs a lot of money to run them, and so the promoters, they have to pay a good fee to get the trucks to get the good quality trucks to come to the arenas. Then, of course, the cost of the arenas and all that stuff. So I understand why the tickets cost what they cost. It's expensive to produce the event. All of the costs of the event, all the equipment that's needed, the moving and dirt in and out, and or the whatever it is. If it's a non-dirt, the cars, all of the security, all the other costs that it takes to build to have the track, to have the event, I should say. That's why it costs what it costs. Nevertheless, some people just can't do it, and so it's neat for them to be able to come to see us, and bring the kids and let them kick the tires and see the monster truck up close. And two, the other side of that is people that maybe they do go to the races, they go to the race when we're in town, but they never get to get close to the truck, and this time they do, and they get to see them, and they see how they're built and see all the things, the safety features, all of the things that we have that we incorporate into them that maybe we take for granted, and the hardcore fans take for granted because they understand how they're built. But some people look at them and well, I thought you had a stock, this was just a normal truck and you just had big tires on it or something. They didn't realize that there's a roll cage and all of this structure and these big shocks and this huge engine and all of this stuff. There's still people, of course you laugh, but there's still people who think you drive the truck to the races. They don't realize you have a hauler, and of course that's fascinating. The people like to see, how do you haul this thing down the road? It's so big. How do you? Well, we take the tires off and we put it. You're kidding me. You take the tires. How long does that take? That takes all day to take the tires off and put them back on and do. No, we can do. And we're not NASCAR like, but nevertheless we can still put the tires on and off pretty quickly. And I think that blows people's minds sometimes that we take the tires off to transport these things down the road. And I often say too that, when you see a funny car or an Indy car in person, when you've watched them on TV, they look much smaller. When you see them in real life, I didn't realize they were that small. The monster truck is the other way. They see that and I didn't realize those things were that big. I see them on TV and they're flying through the air and they're doing all these things, and I didn't realize that they're this big. And that's kind of cool. So it's neat when they can stand up next to them, or maybe the kids, they got maybe we're at a dealer year over year, and one time the kid's there and he's halfway up the tire, and the next time you come back and he's as tall as the tire or something, and they measure milestones like that, and it's neat. And you see people's Christmas cards or something that they took at a visit we were at. That was neat, those types of things. And the football games, the concerts, we're doing some concerts. That's another thing that's interesting to us, to me, and to Mark, and to you guys. We get to come to a race and not only watch the concert, but watch the behind the scenes and see how they set all those things up. That's fascinating to all of us, to maybe the world that we all take for granted with the monster trucks. That's fascinating to other people. When we get to see other people's worlds, that's fascinating to us. And we like to look at those tour buses and those, look at their haulers and look at how they pack stuff up and how do they get this stage down the road and how do they carry all these musical instruments and all that stuff? How do they set this thing up? That's kind of neat, to us, just like our fans looking at how do they haul that monster truck down the road. So, it just perpetuates. It's a lot of fun to be able to do this and to be able to have done this for so long, which we wouldn't have been able to do without so many behind the scenes people that have helped us, get us down the road and get us through different things, difficult times, good times. A lot of people have helped push Hall Brothers Racing down the road, and we can't do it without. We would not have been able to be here without all those people along the way. So that's important to acknowledge as well.
Well, we're gonna play our final commercial, and we'll also talk about the 2026 season,
All right.
and what's up and coming for Hall Brothers Racing. So we'll be right back. Wanted to thank MTRC, Colby Marshall with the Monster Blog, with their videos and stuff like that for all the monster truck RC racing and stuff like that. And also go to jconcepts.net to get your deal with Crush This. So we're coming up, we already came up with the 2026 season, and we're going through some awesome stuff that's going to happen this year. We already went through the combo, we did that stuff, but we're not, I guess we could say that we're taking a little bit of a break with Monster Jam, but we're not completely gone with them.
Oh no. Well, throughout our career, there's been times when we've raced for what's now Monster Jam, the U.S. Hot Rod Association. We've raced for them, then took a break and raced somewhere else, and then come back. And so this is nothing unusual. It's been, we've done that lots of different times. Taking a break from them this year. They they have some things they're doing, which are perfectly fine. We're going to do some things on our end a little bit differently. It allows us an opportunity to return to our roots a little bit. We're going to do some Monsters of Destruction, some of the old Monster Nationals events. Had a lot of success there over the years. We'll go back and do some of those. Continue to do the jamborees. We're going to try some of the new Monster Truck Insanity events. We're going to do some of those events this year. Yeah, we've done a few of those in the past. We're going to do a few more this year. I think that's going to be exciting. They're in a lot of markets that maybe we went to even way back in the USA days. So that'll be kind of neat to go to some of those events. All those NASCAR events like we were talking about, a lot of that stuff, that'll be interesting. Football games, there's some other lifestyle events, Ram lifestyle events that we'll be doing. We'll be back at Austin for the Austin Rodeo, going back there with the ride truck and stuff. And we're going to be visiting a lot more state fairs where Ram has a presence. Maybe it's the official truck or something of specific state fairs. Last year was our first time at the California State Fair, and I'm proud to say we're going back to that. Going to return to the Iowa State Fair, the Colorado State Fair, Oklahoma, Texas. We're going to do new this year. We're going to do Minnesota. We haven't been to the Minnesota State Fair. Went up there when they ran the auto show at the fairgrounds, but we never have been there for the fair. So we're going there. We have a lot of fans and friends up that way. It's neat to get up there. Mo Party will be going back there this year for Holly. That'll be an interesting time. Excuse me. To go back there, we met a lot of. We did that event in 25, and we got to meet a lot of Mopar fans, and that's also spinning off into some other Mopar events. So we'll doing some Mopar lifestyle events for Chrysler enthusiast clubs and stuff at some specific events. So that'll be neat to go to those events. So lots of exciting stuff. Opening up new opportunities to go to. Lots of different types of events, where we can take the monster truck to and maybe introduce people like we were talking about to the monster truck world and the monster truck culture. And I know you guys and your sponsors, J Concepts and them, they do a good job of bringing the realism of those RC trucks. That's just amazing to me. The technology and stuff that they've developed and you guys have done in those trucks that mimics the real thing. That brings fans too, and that gives fans firsthand experience and makes them want to come to the races and see or come to other events. And that's kind of neat to see that side of it. And yeah, we went down the drag strip last year. We're going to do that again this year. Make some speed runs again. Going back to some other venues that we haven't been to in a while. That's going to be going to Mansfield, Ohio. Haven't been there in a long time. That'll be neat to go to. Lots of cool places that we haven't had an opportunity to go to because we've been running on another circuit, and we'll revisit some of those markets. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see what we got. Some new equipment coming out. We're building a new racing truck that's it's been under construction for a long time and was kind of tabled, and then COVID hit and but now it's been resurrected, and we'll get that thing out there, and lots of exciting new stuff coming. So it's going to be a good 2026, I think.
We do have a few fan questions. One of them was asking about the Mo Party and any talks about maybe trying to set the monster truck speed record again.
Well, yeah, there was talks about that, and I know Alan Pizzo was going to do that this year, and then he ran into some bad luck, lost a motor when he was going to try to make an attempt, and of course that that can happen when you're pushing stuff to the ragged edge like that. Sometimes parts won out, and that's that. So, and unfortunately, that affected him this time. But we ran, I think, 90 just with weren't really trying to make any kind of a run there, and we ran 96 or 7 miles an hour. It seemed like, and all we did was just. You think we ought to change gears? Yeah, let's put it. So Mark said, let's change gears and we'll just run her down through there. And if it takes off and it goes, I'll leg it on out the end. And he did. But we couldn't get off the line. And I don't really understand that because the track was prepped for drag racing, but we just couldn't get off the line. And the thing spun violently and tried to turn and almost went into the fence. So he had to steer it back into the groove but still ran 96 or 97 miles an hour. So it made me think, well, heck, if we really tried hard, we could go out there. We ran 107 on an airfield when we were trying to, to set that, when we were preparing to set the record back when we did a long time ago. So I know the speed's there. And if we had if we tried hard, when it had a good round set of tires, we weren't, we just had our normal car crushing stuff. Absolutely zero preparation, no lowered shocks or taking planetaries out or taking front drive shafts out or, none of that stuff. We had the truck in absolute 100% car crush mode and went down the drag strip. So, which I think is the right way to do it, but that's just me. But yeah, we'll see. I appreciate your question, and let's watch for that. Let's see what's out there. Maybe we will.
We got another one here with Dustin Parks. So sorry to be late for the party, but Tim, same question I posted the Hall of Fame class. What do you think is the next big innovation for the industry?
Wow, that's a good question, Dustin. And it seemed like there for a while, technology was really moving fast. The shocks, the transmissions, the torque converters, all the different things that guys were going through. And now it's EFI. Okay. So when we got to EFI, and the problem is dinosaurs like me that are trying to learn this stuff, that all the kids take for granted. I don't know that you could buy a lawnmower with a carburetor anymore, but these kids all know all this stuff, but old guys like us that have raced for 40 years with mechanical injection have to learn these things. Well, as we learn these things, we start to find out all the capabilities that these EFI systems have and things that they can do and information that they can record and display and get to us to make changes. So I suspect the next innovation will be probably along those lines as we start to learn and perhaps digest some of the information that these EFI systems can relay to us. We've had it for a couple of years now, and really have just scratched the surface. We haven't really tweaked anything or tried to learn more from it. But these guys, like the guys at Holly, when we were down at Mo Party, and I was talking to some of them, they said, "Oh, what you're asking the system to do is just about absolutely the basic of what this thing can do. It can read, hundreds of samples a second or thousands, if not thousands. And it can do make all these changes, and it can record this and it can do that. And it can retard timing or advance timing. And it can change shift points. And, if you allow it to interact with all the different things, you can make it do all these different things. So I never would have thought when we started that we would someday have computers on a truck. But like Mark says, now in the driver's seat, you're looking at not only all the gauges, but there's two computer screens in there. One of them's a backup camera, and one of them is this digital dash that does that displays all this information. So, and some guys even take it further than that. They've got data loggers and data acquisition systems on there that record the runs, and they can analyze them. And of course, RBC had, Bob Chandler had that stuff years ago. He was measuring shock movements and all of those things, and way ahead of his time. And so he's already been there with it. But the rest of us are just now looking at all these things. There's so many things that we could do. I think that's where we'll go next. Here comes the computers.
with the computers and stuff like that, this is a question from me is, I remember you were talking about newer engines. So like the third gen Hemi, the Godzilla motor, the LS motor. What do you think would take for someone to bring a more big block modern engine into the monster truck world?
Well, that's a very good question, and I honestly thought somebody would be here by now with it. In fact, when Marty Garza went down with his medical situation, he was working pretty hard on that for the MTRA. The MTRA was trying to get out in front of those types of engines and try to get some technology. And Marty was one that he was working diligently to learn all that stuff and learn the capabilities, because the modern technology that's in those engines that you've mentioned is amazing, and it's not beyond reality to think that somebody could have a 1500 heck, they exist. You can buy a 1500 horse crate engine with a warranty, and it starts the same way. When we go to the arena or we go to the stadium, and in the wintertime we have to drag the truck in, either we use the equipment and push the truck in the arena and let it warm up, or we have to put heaters under it and start, and the 70 weight motor oil that we have in there just absolutely won't flow at below zero or cold temperatures. So we have to run those heaters in order to warm up the engine so it'll start. Well, they make 1500 horsepower crate engines that start just like you're starting your pickup truck in the morning. You just go out and hit the key, and they run on regular gas. They don't have to have a high performance racing fuel or anything. You can go down the gas station, get some fuel, dump in there, and go. And they make reasonable amounts of horsepower, so certainly enough to perform in an arena. So I think it's around the corner. I'm quite surprised that somebody hasn't done it already. But of course, there's ride trucks all over the place that are, that are powered by crate Hemi or crate engines, and I suspect that soon we'll have a crate Hurricane or Hurricrate motor in ours. And it's just around the corner. The technology is there. And that's why, in answer to Dustin's question, that's why I think the computers are the next big thing, because I think crate engines and those types of things will be, will be coming next.
Well, Tim, we just hit that hour mark, so we're gonna cut it off here. But thank you so much for being on. Like I think if you're gonna see Raminator, I think that's this weekend on Lebanon, Missouri. We'll be there, and then we'll be a few of us will be at Peoria, Illinois for a nice RV show next weekend, and then we will also be at Miami, Florida for the College Football National Championship. This week in general is going to be the two teams with not Illinois. Sorry for insulting you. Indiana is facing off against Oregon, and then Mississippi, which is Ole Miss, facing off against Miami in the semifinals. And the winner of those two games will be heading to Miami out of the Hard Rock Stadium for the national championship, and we'll be there. Also, hope to see you guys all there. Like I said, with this weekend, we'll be doing a Monster Truck Insanity show at Lebanon, Missouri this weekend. So we're going to do some monster truck racing, and we're going to try to win too. So
yeah, looking forward to that. Well, I'm going to go down there and watch you see what you can do against these boys. There's some good competition coming, and that'll be fun. And then next week, like you say, the RV show in Peoria. If you're in that area, come over to the RV show and get up in we'll have the picture truck there. You can get up inside, take a picture. You can register to win $100,000 towards a new Ram truck, and then it's on to the college national championship football game. We'll watch that.
You also can enter to win $100,000
right.
too.
You sure can
do that also. And one more thing, you can enter the win also at the pit party at Lebanon, Missouri too, and get some free prizes with that too for signing up and get yourself a chance to win. I thought me personally it was funny that we did the college football stuff on New Year's Eve. So we tell the people, you register now, then you come back tomorrow and register again to, and they're like, well,
next year.
Were they going to release the winner later that day? No, you'll be waiting until December 31st of 2026 to know who wins that stuff.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool just seeing them just signing up and just going from there and do it that way. But yes, once again, Tim, thank you so much for being on and
Thanks for having me.
having a chat and stuff like that. And I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Which can we talk about this? That people may not know that you have you. Can I say you own a rhino?
Well, Vicky and I have adopted some rhinos that they had at the zoo, and just kind of to help them. It's a program that they have at the zoo where you can adopt animals and help with their care and stuff. And but yeah, rhinoceroses have been I've been a fan of rhinoceroses for quite some time. So we're going to go see the rhinos at some point, and got some new ones at one of the zoos in Chicago. They're going to have a baby here soon, so that'll be neat. But going to go see the rhinos at some point.
Mark Schrader mentioned to me, he said that you liked his truck when it had the
When he had the rhino on it.
Yeah, the rhino on it, and
That was pretty cool.
He says he always talks about that. He's like, Tim Hall likes my truck. Perfect name being called Devastator. But once again, Tim, thank you so much for being on. Like I said, next week, RJ Turner with the War Wizard team will be on. The driver of War Wizard truck will be on next week too. So Brad's right now at school. He just messaged the beginning of the program. He said, have a great show, Cheech. Currently in class waiting to start. So hopefully everything will come there and be all right. But once again, guys, thank you so much for being on. Like Brad says, always check up on your friends and family, call them and check up on them. Also, even though it's wintertime, I always say this with the summertime, if you have any animals outside, bring them inside. Cold weather can sometimes scare and frighten them, and they don't know what to do. And also donate blood. That's always a big thing too. But like I said, next week we are going to have RJ Turner here. So once again, I'm Dan Chichagosh, Brad Shaw. This is Crush This, a Monster Truck Podcast. Keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up.